this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Hey, everybody. The official Big Bang Theory podcast is back, covering seasons 3 and 4 of the show. Each week, host Jessica Radloff speaks with crew and cast members like Kunal Nair, Mayim Bialik, and Kevin Sussman. Hear about the Easter eggs you may have missed, behind-the-scenes stories, and how certain real-life relationships shaped some of the most memorable storylines. Watch the official Big Bang Theory podcast on HBO Max or wherever you get your podcasts. We've all tumbled down an internet rabbit hole trying to self-diagnose, and it leaves us more anxious than informed. Our feeds are full of wellness trends, but how do we know what's real, what's exaggerated, and what's just wrong? Health versus Hype from the American Medical Association breaks it all down. Emmy-nominated science communicator Trace Dominguez talks to doctors, influencers, and real people trying these trends, not to cancel them, but to understand them. Because when it comes to your health, who you listen to matters. So listen to Health versus Hype wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know, a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and Jerry's here too. And this is Stuff You Should Know, the In Way Over Our Heads edition.
The help parents understand what their child is doing in their room all day edition.
I hope so. But I suspect that more than just parents are going to listen to this. And I've never been more nervous about what a group of 8-year-olds thinks of me than I am right now. Because I know too much about Minecraft. Like, I can go way too deep in it. But I also feel very clearly I don't know enough to not get hate mail for misspeaking.
Yeah, I would maybe not dig too deep on this one, because the deeper you go, the more you risk.
Oh, yeah.
Being mad.
For sure. But one of the key things about Minecraft is, like, it's nothing but rabbit holes. You look up one thing, and all of a sudden that leads to 10 other things, and those 10 other things lead to 20 other things each. And it's so fascinating how complex and complicated this whole thing is, especially when you understand the actual mechanics of how these worlds are built, how they originate, how simple it is. It's just, I love it. I love Minecraft a lot. If I didn't get addicted to things that I like, I would probably start playing Minecraft, but I know that would ruin my life.
Well, I'm glad you're addicted to podcasting with me.
I totally am. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I mean, if that wasn't clear, all that we just said, like, this is officially a COA. Like, this will be a broad overview of a very, very, very dense game that neither one of us play. So we're going to get stuff wrong. We're not going to dive into things you want us to dive into. So
just
the emails,
like, be disappointed.
Yeah, like, I can't believe you didn't mention blank. Like, just save it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thanks to Ruby, we got a little help.
Yeah.
We sent some questions last night that I guess, we'll pepper in it if they apply.
For sure. Yeah. There was a few things that I just couldn't nail down, and I was like, I'll bet Ruby knows this. And sure enough, she did. Yeah,
well, maybe. I mean, she doesn't really play anymore. She played, and I'm kind of glad about this. Like, Minecraft is a wonderful game, and we'll go over the benefits of it because there are many compared to most video games. But it's also a game, and we'll go over the pitfalls. It's also a game that can really get under your skin as a kid and as an adult, I guess. But it's not great if you're a kid and you have other things like schooling to do. If you have a kid that's super, 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 super into it, and she never got that into it. She really enjoyed it, but she's the kind of kid, if, like, you take it away or if it goes away for a minute, she's just like, what? All right, I'll just do something else, which is just good.
She's not going to give you the satisfaction of punishing
Maybe? I don't know. Honestly, think she just forgets.
Oh, cool.
Because she was all into the Roblox game, which is a whole other kind of game, and, like, really into it. And as a punishment for something, we wiped it off her iPad along with everything else except for music.
Like, were you yelling when you did it?
No, but we just cleaned the iPad free of everything except for podcast and music. And it's like the next day she was like, oh, all right, whatever.
That reminds me, do you remember Dr. Katz, the 90s cartoon with the squiggly lines?
Of course, I loved Katz.
And Dom Herrera was a regular on that.
Oh, man.
He was a
great.
bit. Yeah, he is great. He was talking about how cats just never give you the satisfaction of, like, no matter what you do to them, they're not going to let on that you've bothered them. So, like, he gave the example of throwing a cat through the air. and the cat would be like, "Thanks, my man. I wanted to go this
Right.
way anyway."
Well,
I'll never
Ruby's so
forget
into
that.
cats too, so maybe that's it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like she
but
says she's part cat.
there you go. I think that's what it is.
Maybe so. That's fine.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we should give a little bit of background on Minecraft for people who don't know what Minecraft is. Surely, I mean, at the very least, most people walking around know that it's a very, very, very popular video game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And we'll get into the history, but at its base, it is a, if you look at it, it goes counter to a lot of, like, the way it got popular is just almost astounding in some ways, because it goes counter to most video games these days, which try to make things very, very real looking. And Minecraft is very blocky and pixelated and old school, and it's sort of like an interactive Lego game. It's called a sandbox game, where you can just go around and build things. You mine things to craft with. Yeah.
I mean, that's the point. And there's plenty of things to do. Like, it's not like nothing happens.
Yeah, sure.
Like you can, because there's so few rules, because there's no real point to it. There's not like a game that you like want to win or conquer or anything like that. Like, it's essentially up to the limits of your imagination what you do in this amazing blocky world.
Yeah. And despite those blocks, despite the fact that there is no real plot, it is the best-selling PC game of all time, second to Tetris as the biggest video game. And Tetris, by the way, that's coming. We need to do. That's got a great story to it.
Okay.
So we need to do one of those. But yeah, it's one of the all-time giants, and it was created by a kind of not very good dude named Marcus with a K Persson of Sweden, aka Notch.
Yeah, and he was a coder from way back. Like, he taught himself on a Commodore 128, which came out in 1985. Not quite sure how old he was when he was working on it, but just suffice to say, like, that's like, you really had to understand code to code with one of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like a game developer, a coder from the outset, essentially. And he got a couple jobs at some of the big game companies in Sweden. And he was working at one of them, I think it was King.com, when he was inspired to kind of create his own game. And he was playing a game called Infiniminer, right? Am I saying that right? Like Infinity Miner, but without the T part?
Yeah.
Okay. And essentially, you mine resources and you build stuff with these blocks that you mine. It's a mining game, essentially. Sounds very familiar. And he's not like shy about saying, like, this was a copy, a spoof basically of Infiniminer. But it was also inspired by some other games, like one called Dwarf Fortress, which is really simple, but all of the characters involved and all of the non-player characters kind of have their own drive and decisions. So a lot of random stuff can happen in there. And then also Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you could just build your own, roller coasters. So if you put all those three things together, you have kind of the rough outlines of Minecraft, which he really started releasing, I think, in 2009.
Yeah, and I went down a 20-second rabbit hole of, because once I looked up Infiniminer, I was like, wait a minute, did he just like literally kind of steal that game? Mm-hmm. And that is a rabbit hole that I was loath to go down, because I found myself on Reddit, and it's just like, it's very contentious of people who are like, yeah, he totally stole that game and ripped it off. And people are like, no, he didn't. He was inspired by it. So I'm not wading into that argument.
Sure, probably
you can make up your own mind about that.
Right. But yeah, however it came out, he released it in 2009, and people just dug on it very, very quickly. I think that
was the alpha version.
Yeah, the beta
not like
version,
the main release.
No, and he was like, he just put the word out there, and I think he actually started charging people $13 for just to play the alpha version. But he was also getting lots of feedback and like blogging about it and everything. The whole thing was his side gig, but little by little, it kind of moved his main gig like off to the side itself, and then until it was like, I can actually support myself with Minecraft. I'm quitting my day job.
Yeah, which finally in 2010, he founded the company, Swedish for Gadget. It's Mojang, Mojang, almost said G. with a couple of coworkers, name, and here's where I don't know whether to say Jacob or Jacob.
It's not Jacob or Jacob, it's Jacob.
It's Papioma?
No, it really is Jacob. What was wrong with Papioma? I didn't read that email closely enough.
It's Papilloma.
Oh.
And I knew that, and I heard you saying it, but I was just like, I guess he knows something I don't know, because that was such a wild stab. I just figured you were ahead of me.
You just found it so enchanting.
Anyway, you said it is Jacob? I forgot already.
Jacob.
Jacob Porser and Carl Manna, Manneh. They hired some people. They had a gaming company all of a sudden, and the beta version came out not too long after, and they went over a 6-month period at the beginning of 2011 to July of that year. They went from 1 million players to 10 million in that short time, officially launching in November 2011 at Minecon, which was it's still an ongoing event. I think they do it online now, but for a while it was a live event in Vegas called Minecraft Live.
Yeah, I think they held the 2015 one in London, and it set the record for the largest attendance of any convention in the history of humanity, I think.
It's big stuff, everybody.
It's huge. I mean, it is enormous. I didn't see any statistics on like what percentage of the world plays it, but I did see that at any point in time, there's as many as like 30, 40, 50 million people playing it at the same time. Not necessarily all together, because as we'll see, there's different ways to play it by yourself or with other people. But if you just were able to zoom out and look at what everybody in the world's doing, 30 million of them would be playing Minecraft at that moment.
Ooh, boy. So starting in 2011, there was a man named, and still is, named Jens Jeb Bergensten as lead designer. Watched a few interviews with this guy.
Mm-hmm. Is it pronounced Jens?
It's definitely Jens, but it's also Jeb and not Yeb.
Okay.
It's getting very confusing. Notch stayed on the Minecraft team, but, was basically sort of letting Jens run the show, it seems like, as far as being in the weeds. He was developing other games, Notch was, and, kind of living the high life because he got very wealthy very quick.
Yeah, one of the first things he did was buy himself a fedora, which became kind of like a trademark look for him.
Sure.
And he started just basically joined the international party set. It was like, how much money does it cost to get in here? They're like, you got enough. Come on in. So that's how we mine it. Exactly right. So he kind of I got the impression that he was not just distracted by this newfound wealth and all the stuff he could do with it, but that he was not really interested in seeing a game like becoming a massive, globally dominating blockbuster and all the work that takes and coordination and all that. He was more interested in developing games. So he stepped away, like you said, and handed it over to Jeb. And then when Microsoft came a calling in 2014, apparently Notch tweeted, does anybody want to buy my share of Mojang because I'm ready to move on with my life? Apparently, like, all these companies were like, yeah, we totally will. And that supposedly set up that Microsoft deal for $2.5 billion. And at that point, he's like, I'm completely gone now.
Yeah, Forbes had him as of like last week at about a $1.2 billion net worth. And that seems pretty reliable, not like the stupid celebrity net worth websites.
Right. Not too shabby for somebody who wears a fedora in public.
Yeah. Yeah, and he stayed sort of associated with the game and the company for a long time, even after the Microsoft purchase. Well, not that long, about 5 years-ish, when they basically stopped referencing him on the loading page in 2019, stopped inviting him to their Minecraft parties, like their 10th anniversary celebration.
Yeah, he turned into Hooper Humperdinck.
Yeah, basically, he started letting everyone know his thoughts about QAnon and far right wing politics and homophobic things and transphobic things and sexist and misogynist things. It was sort of a greatest hits of that kind of guy, and he went public with all of it and issued some pretty lame apologies for some of it. But yeah, so that's what happened, and that's who he is.
Yeah. So Minecraft just kept going on without him. And from what I can tell, like when Jeb took over, is he still the lead game designer, like essentially the showrunner for Minecraft?
But I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure he is.
Like even if he stopped like a couple of years ago, that game really flourished under his oversight. Like he's really creative, also really, and I think Notch was willing to do this too, but Jeb was or is really willing to be like, hey, some player, some random person somewhere came up with this amazing invention. We're going to actually release it as a update or add-on or something to the game. Like and it's a really creative, flourishing game still because of that guy, from what I can tell.
Yeah, totally. So there are 3 modes, and this is the regular unmodded version, because as you'll learn, you can modify it in all kinds of creative, kind of crazy ways.
Yeah.
Or vanilla mode. But if you're playing just that regular version that my daughter plays on the PlayStation, you can play in survival mode, hardcore mode, or creative mode.
Right. So survival mode is like the kind of like where the game part comes in. Like you can actually die. So you're doing all of the interesting stuff that you do in Minecraft that we'll, talk about more extensively, but there's zombies attacking you, or there's creepers coming up and blowing themselves up and hurting you, or you can drown underwater, fall off a cliff. And when that happens, all of the stuff that you've gathered that make up what's called your inventory, all the things you can use to make other stuff, all the stuff you've made out of other things already that you want to use to like extend your life or jump higher or whatever, you lose all that. It actually stays in the location that you died at in Minecraft world. But you are teleported back to either where you started the game or your bed, if you've made yourself a bed. And I saw that if you can get there within 5, like our reality minutes, 5 minutes in our reality, you can go pick up your stuff again. But it can be very hard to do if you're really far away from your bed.
That's right. And what happens is you start basically with nothing. If you're a parent and you've wandered through and it looks like, what is that blocky, pixelated thing like punching everything for? That's the gameplay. You start with nothing and you basically go at the very beginning and you punch a tree to get some wood. And what you're doing is, you're getting resources to build stuff. So you just keep punching and digging things and finding new things and transforming them into all kinds of things, from, farms to animals to buildings and oceans and rivers. And, you're literally building your world as you go, in all the modes, from what I can tell. You got hardcore mode is next. But if you die, like the game is over, which is kind of a bummer, I guess.
Yeah. Because like you can get really far and develop a lot of stuff. So when you're walking around, like punching stuff, like punching a tree, you're punching a tree to get wood. And when you collect some wood, you can actually turn it into, say, lumber. And if you combine that lumber with something else you've gotten, I don't remember what, I think wool from a sheep.
Sure.
You put it together, you build yourself a bed. It's one of the first things you're supposed to do. You're supposed to build a shelter and make a bed in your shelter. And the reason why you want to make a bed is because if you die in survival mode, you basically, it's called respawning. You wake up, you're teleported back in your bed to start over. The problem is all of that stuff that you've accumulated, all the lumber and all the wool and all the things that you can make by combining those things, they make up what's called your inventory. And your inventory can get pretty extensive the longer you stay alive and play and do stuff in the Minecraft world, and you lose all that stuff. It's gone. It's actually physically in the Minecraft world where you died. And if you could make it over there in time after you respawn, you could pick that stuff up, but it can be really hard if you're really far away. And then with hardcore mode, like all that's just gone forever. You have to start the game over completely. And the reason that I know that that's true is because Ruby answered that question.
Yeah. That was actually the funniest answer, because you said, hey, if you die in hardcore mode, is that it? Is everything gone that you've ever built? Mm-hmm. And she said, yeah, it's hardcore, Josh. She doesn't play that mode, though. She plays the third mode almost exclusively, I think, when she plays, which is creative mode. And this is the super cute, fun one that when you see your, 7 and 8-year-old daughter playing, you're like, this is the greatest game ever. Because I sat down with her one day and watched, and she's just like, oh, look, this is my farm, and this is my garden, and these are my sheep, and this is my animal pen, and this is my house, and look, I've got a pool on the top floor, and I've got a deck, and it's just really creative and super sweet and fun. You can fly in creative mode, like if you want to get up to the top of your thing, you can fly up there, and the best thing is you can't be harmed. There's no zombie coming to kill you.
No. You just do fun stuff. Like you said, farm. And it's not like, I built a farm and now this farm's running. Like you build the farm and then you have to operate the farm to keep it going. It's just amazing and neat, all the stuff that you can do in this game. It's just crazy. And we'll talk about some of just the mind-boggling stuff that people make. But one of the cool things about it is you can build this world by yourself, or you can work with others, play with others. People in your house using a local area network, or there's Minecraft servers to where you're building a world together, and like other people can come in and walk around your world and hang out with you and sometimes mess with you in your world too, because it's a giant shared world. Whereas there's also another version, which I take it Ruby was playing, where that is like, that's your world. Nobody else can come in because it's just on that one computer. It's not being shared with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and we just didn't know enough about it and said that's the only version you can play, because the last thing I wanted was some, I know. I don't want her meeting those people. So I'm sure there's a lot of fun that can be had on those, multiplayer private server games. I'm sure it's great in most ways.
Yeah.
There are some very cool versions of that. There's one called Pixelmoncraft, where they have recreated the gameplay of Pokemon within the Minecraft world, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And some of these are like full-on companies. Livia found this. Boy, God bless Livia for the breadth of things that she helps us with.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, how about philosophy and then Minecraft?
Right.
But there's one called Hypixel, which has like 40 developers on staff and got bought themselves by Riot Games, one of the big companies, in 2020. And, these are all just modifying this game that was so popular already. It's really, really kind of nuts. Yeah,
I would say a cottage industry has grown up around it. About like 50 different cottage industries have grown up around it with a bunch of different companies in each. That Hypixel, to give you an example, they make like games you can play in the Minecraft world.
Yeah.
So like there's one called Skyblock where you start out on just a little patch of ground floating in the sky with a single tree and a couple of resources, and you have to build your way out of that. You have to expand it with way more limited resources than you would get normally. There's a one called Bed Wars where your point is to like destroy your friend's bed so that they can't respawn in their bed again. They have to go back to where they started the game. Yeah. It's fun stuff. But that's on their server, and they modified Minecraft, and the makers of Minecraft, Mojang, don't sue those people because you put it all together, and it's almost like the Wikipedia of games, where the entire world has collaborated on making this amazing game that is Minecraft.
I wonder if because he so heavily borrowed, let's say, from Infinity Miner or Infiniminer, that he was like, maybe I'll just sit back and be super wealthy and not worry about these people that are doing this stuff.
Maybe, but also the mind-boggling thing is now Microsoft owns it, and they don't sue other people who create mods. It's nuts. There's something weird going on here, man.
All right, well, let's take a break, and we'll be right back to talk about who the heck is playing this game and more about the world right after this.
Hey everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well designed, and they can be well designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair has stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience save time, reduce hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter, for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken.
Yeah, the times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. Built with a long-lasting battery so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it.
That's right. They don't build tech just for tech's sake. They build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you. Everyone knows winter is the real mess maker. You don't need WeatherTech floor liners for summer unless you hit the beach and half the beach ends up back in your car, or the campsite dirt ends up in your trunk. Then you'd want a cargo liner, or a road trip goes sideways, lemonade spills, ketchup goes rogue, ice cream drips. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy about those WeatherTech seat protectors. So just to be clear, as the mud you're inevitably going to step in this summer, you don't need WeatherTech unless you plan on doing summer. Visit WeatherTech.com today. So there's a lot of video games where you pay monthly subscription fees. Sometimes you'll like buy the game, but then also subscribe monthly to get extra stuff or whatever.
Sure.
New editions of the game, things like that. But Minecraft has always been pretty great in that you buy the game and that's it. You own the game. The game is updated for free. The updates just roll out. A lot of games do that as well. It's not the only one. But it was sort of the core business model, which is you buy this game, and whether it's a PC or PlayStation or whatever, and that's your game for forever. You've got that Minecraft game, and kids can grow into adulthood like playing the same game that you insert the disc into the player.
Right. So there's like in-game purchases and add-ons and stuff you can buy. I think the big hubbub that I picked up on is that a SpongeBob Bikini Bottom biome is coming along, I think in August. So you can play as SpongeBob biomes. And it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. There's other like things called textures, which take the very standard recognizable Minecraft look and do all sorts of things to it. Some make it way smoother. Some add different kinds of shading. There's one called Pastel that changes the color palette and makes it much pinker and happier. There's just a ton of stuff. You can get an add-on that like is it's a mansion. Like you don't have to build it yourself. It's just now you can buy a mansion rather than build it. It seems counterintuitive or counter against the point, I guess. But I'm sure some kids are like, I just want to buy the mansion and farm instead. I don't want to waste my time building my mansion.
You're rabbit holing.
Sorry. But yes, my point is there are stuff you can buy, but a lot of that stuff is free too. A lot of the mods are free.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to get great statistics on who's playing it, but Livia did found a survey from, like 7 years ago from Australia, where I bet it's pretty indicative of who's playing worldwide. 54% of boys ages 3 to 12 were playing it. 32% of girls.
All of them raised on Foster's beer.
And early on, it started out as more sort of young adult men or older teenagers, but it has since crept down in age. And I'm sure, people of all ages still play it. But, it's a game that a 4-year-old can kind of start playing if they're good with their fingies.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 different default players from the early years. Steve, well, he was the only default player in the early years. And then in 2014, they added Alex. They added a man and a woman. And then they rolled out 7 more in 2022 with different outfits and different skin tones. But you can skin your character. You can create the stuff yourself. And I believe you can probably buy stuff and get skins that other people have created to make your player look more like you want them to look.
Yeah,
or maybe more like you even.
Like there's clowns, Japanese demons, scarecrows. There's a lot of cool skins out there for sure.
You just stopped yourself. I know.
Yes,
you had
I did.
things on that list. So I guess we should talk about the fact that, and this is another really cool part of it. When you start out, I said you start out and you just punch that tree. You start out with one chunk of landscape that is a 16 by 16 square block.
Mm-hmm.
And once you reach those edges, you start creating, you build as you go, and it's procedurally generated as you go. And eventually, if you're asking, is there even a limit? Yes, 60 million blocks per side, which is 7 times larger than the Earth's surface.
Yeah, if you consider a block square kilometer of Earth, it's about half the size of Neptune and twice the size of Earth. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
That's just one world. So I read this amazing post by a guy named Alan Zucconi called The World Generation of Minecraft. I'm going to just dance just along the top of it. But if you're at all interested in how the actual world is generated, and it's quite fascinating, go read that. But essentially what they start with is what's called a seed. It's 64 bits of information, right? Which is nothing. That's so small. But just following a couple of algorithmic rules, the whole world generates from there. And because these 64 bits are, slightly different in each seed, there's something like 18.4 quintillion possible worlds that can develop from a seed. That's how many seeds are possible out there, right?
Well, tell them what a seed is.
So a seed is that 64 bits that create the world. And when you have a game like Ruby's game where she bought that game, she bought a seed. So
well, I bought it.
Okay, well, sorry. Her dad bought it for her.
Yeah.
And so if she started over, when she started the game, every time that same world is going to be built because it's the same information following the same rules. So it's going to build the same world. But if she went and bought another one, the seed that it grew from would create a totally different world. And it follows these really simple rules. Like if the temperature is this and the altitude is this is the biome it's going to create, like a desert or a tundra or a forest or something like that. And so if you've created a forest biome now in this spot, that means it's going to have trees and certain kinds of animals running around. If it's underwater, what's the water temperature? And depending on the water temperature, there's going to be different animals in that biome too. And it's just following if-then rules that create a world from 64 bits. It's nuts what they've done. And the other thing about it too is people play this so much that they'll actually go out and buy another copy because they know that world so well. Can you imagine?
Can't you just start over?
You can, but it's going to be the same world. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean as a different character or something.
I mean, yeah, you could start over, but you're going to be exploring the same world that you did, before. You could buy another copy and it's going to be a totally different world.
Oh, I thought if you started over as a new, if I logged in as me in her game, I could just start as whatever I wanted.
No, because it's the same seed. Yeah, you could be a different character, skin it or whatever, but the world
start
be the
from
same.
scratch.
Yeah, the world will still be the same because it's growing from the same seed. I should probably caveat this that this is Alan Zucconi talking. I'm just amplifying what he's saying.
Well, let's talk about those biomes. There are 64 biome types, 53 in the overworld, which is where, that's sort of the main gameplay area. And then they have a couple of other areas, the Nether, which was added in 2010, which is pretty scary, like hellish place. And then the End, which is that was in 2011. That's a very, very dark, very bleak place, a very bleak landscape.
It's kind of Metroid-y.
Yeah, you can actually win that game if you defeat the Ender Dragon. But I believe there are 53 biomes in the overworld, 5 in the Nether, 5 in the End, and then one that I didn't completely understand. So I'm not even going to get into it. But it gets really, really detailed. Like you said, if you go to the ocean and the water temperature to this, like there are 9 oceans. You can do like warm water ocean, frozen ocean, cold water ocean.
Right.
It just, and the different forests, you can drill down very, very specifically within those 64 biomes, which is like only lends to the creativity, I think. Kids can just, not only are they like being creative, but they're learning something about these biomes.
For sure.
Maybe not the most detailed stuff, but they know that, hey, in this kind of biome, these are the plants and trees that you'll have.
Right. There's kids walking around that are like, yeah, if you go under the ocean, you'll find abandoned cities that the ancient builders created. That's what they're learning, Chuck.
Mobile entities is another thing, or mobs. These are like the animals and the monsters and stuff. When they're killed, they can drop things that you can pick up. Sometimes you can tame them. If you get updates, these mobs expand. I think there are more than 75 now, but the things I've seen walking through the room are like sheep and pigs and things like that. Those were the first animals kind of created that you can use, that you can, get wool from them. If you want to make that bed, you're going to have to get that wool from that sheep.
Right. So, and you talked about different biomes having different animals. And one of the reasons to go to the biomes is not just to explore new cool things, but you can get different things out of different mobs, right? So if you went to a warm water ocean, you would find pufferfish. And if you get a pufferfish and you combine it with something else, I don't remember, you can create a potion that will let you breathe underwater. So you can walk around and explore underwater. So everything that you encounter that's a mob, which is essentially another term for a non-player character, you can get something from, and you can combine it with other stuff that you got from other mobs or from punching a tree or from digging up ore with your pickaxe to create new things to do new stuff with. That's what people are doing when they're playing Minecraft.
One of the other things that you can find are zombies. It's a very big part of the game. They are kind of like most zombies. They're pretty easy to take care of and defeat. There are different variations of zombies. Creepers are kind of a fun mob because creepers were a mistake. I believe that, what's the guy's name again? Marcus Persson?
Yeah.
He was trying to make a pig, but he coded it wrong and it stretched out tall instead of wide, and he thought it looked creepy. He liked it. And so creepers became a very sort of popular monster in the game because he just said, I love that mistake. Let's leave it.
And they're considered hostile mobs, right? Because they'll attack you.
Yeah.
And they do that by blowing up, I think we said earlier.
Yeah.
There's also something called Endermen, which is kind of a play on Slender Man. And they're these creepy entities that may or may not attack you depending on whether you look at them or not. So there's there's definite like gameplay to this, right? Like there's like you can go off and like defeat these things and fight them and protect villages and stuff like that. But there's also like you can also just farm, and once in a while you have to defend your farm against some zombies or something.
Yeah. You'll also come upon villagers and villages where they live, and these they look like humans, I guess, or their version of humans.
Right.
And you can get things from them. You can trade with them. They have different jobs. You can change their job if you want to. If you need like food or something, you can make them unemployed by destroying their job and then giving them a new job. Then all of a sudden you got somebody giving you food.
Right, exactly. And you like it's just crazy that like people have village farms essentially where they're breeding villagers to make them stuff that they want. It can get really, really complicated really fast, but in the most basic version, you're just, trading with the villagers, giving them, you go get emeralds and you come bring them to the villagers and they give you food or wool or something like that.
And you learn where to look for different things that you need. Like if you want coal, you can dig down not too deeply for coal. If you want this thing called red, or if you want like diamonds, you got to dig really, really deep to find the diamonds, just like the real world. And then Livia pointed out this thing called redstone, which was, I believe it was an update to the alpha. So it's been around basically from the beginning, but it has a lot of different kinds of functions, but it mainly functions like electrical wires, so you can build and automate things.
Yeah, it makes things go, powers them, right? Like everything from pistons to doors opening to whatever. People make crazy machines using redstone. There's a kid who made a functioning calculator by arranging redstone and other items in a certain way. Like he made a calculator in Minecraft, and it's kind of one of those things you have to see to really understand how crazy that is. But it's neat. And I think I don't know how well the game would work at all if there wasn't such a thing as redstone, or if, you could just make things work just by pressing them rather than having to go mine redstone and using it to make the specific thing work the specific way.
That's the whole point, though,
That's how detailed and involved it is because of choices like that in the development.
Totally. Should we take our second break?
Sure.
All right, we'll take that break and we'll talk about how this is sort of taken over YouTube as well. Right after this. Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments that matter, for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. Built for the busy days that turn into all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken.
Yeah, the times you're deep in your flow and the absolute last thing you need is an auto update throwing off your momentum. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to the way you actually work. Built with a long-lasting battery so you're not scrambling for the closest outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it.
That's right. They don't build tech just for tech's sake. They build it for you. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you. Everyone knows winter is the real mess maker. You don't need WeatherTech floor liners for summer unless you hit the beach and half the beach ends up back in your car, or the campsite dirt ends up in your trunk. Then you'd want a cargo liner, or a road trip goes sideways, lemonade spills, ketchup goes rogue, ice cream drips. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy about those WeatherTech seat protectors. So just to be clear, as the mud you're inevitably going to step in this summer, you don't need WeatherTech unless you plan on doing summer. Visit WeatherTech.com today.
The universe is full of mysteries. Black holes, quantum physics, galaxies. On TikTok, millions of people are learning more about the universe around them every day. Scientists break down complex theories, demonstrate experiments, and connect dots between the cosmos and our daily lives. One scroll might reveal the concepts on the fabric of space-time, the next an optical illusion. It's discovery on a massive scale, where millions learn something new every day. Okay, Chuck, so you mentioned YouTube, and that is basically the official outlet for Minecraft. That's where Minecraft pours out into the rest of the world.
Yeah, we'll go over some of the ways YouTube is utilized. It's very, very, YouTube is full of Minecraft stuff. But one of the things that sort of alarmed me and kind of disappointed me with this and Roblox is that kids will just sit around watching people play this game on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like to learn how to do things, but with Ruby and her friends, I will see them just sitting around and watching it instead of playing it. And I'm always like, as a parent, I'm like, oh God, can you play the game and like get involved and, but I try to pick my battles and just limit it,
Well, they've really turned things around on their head. If you're like, man, can you please play the video game?
Seriously.
It used to be, can you go outside? Now it's like, can you play the video game rather than watch other people play it?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's how far we've slipped.
I get it, though. It's like essentially she's watching an unscripted TV show or movie or something like that. And there are people that do that. There's something called survival multiplayer channels. There's one called Dream SMP. I think they disbanded, but essentially they had loosely scripted story arcs that they acted out in Minecraft world as kind of fictionalized versions of themselves, like our Stuff You Should Know TV show. And there were just plots that took place, and people would watch YouTube videos of these essentially shows created in Minecraft.
Yeah, there's one guy named PewDiePie, PewDiePie. It's got 111 million subs and is a very, very, very wealthy man.
Yeah, he was one of the first genuine YouTube stars. I think he was as big as it got for a while.
And then, good for him. I'm not knocking it, by the way.
He was toppled by, I think, a Bollywood record label. There was a competition.
Like a 4-year-old from Taiwan.
Right, exactly. Who opened Minecraft Lego gift sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so PewDiePie got very, very wealthy just essentially from starting out from playing Minecraft videos. And you said people watch people playing Minecraft. They'll watch speed runs, see how fast they can go. There's parody music videos set in the Minecraft world. I think it's one of those things where you can't get enough Minecraft once it gets under your skin to where if you're I don't feel like playing today, I'm going to watch somebody else play, and that will satisfy that itch.
Yeah. And you know what? Now that I've said that, save your emails, everyone, because yes, at home, I used to sit around and watch my friends play Adventure when they played and it was their turn. And I would hover over the shoulders of my friends at arcades and watch them play the games. So we did the exact same thing, and I take it all back. Yeah,
but that's a little different because you're sitting there willing your friend to hurry up and die so it can be your turn. You know?
Yeah, it's a little different. Sure.
Yeah, you're up next. That's the reason. And what else are you going to do? You know, you're on your 8th Orange Julius. You're not going to go get another one of those, so you might as well stand around and watch.
Yeah, and your quarter's sitting there flat on the screen of the arcade game.
So you're definitely next.
Oh, man. Those were the days.
What else? You want to talk about the lore at all or move on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of cool in that if you have a world like this, you're gonna get some stuff like fan fiction, even though technically Alex and Steve are sort of until they release the other ones were the only two kind of characters. So it's it's a little weird to have fan fiction about these two blocky people that really have that nothing about personality wise.
Sure.
I guess that's the point of fan fiction. They've also come up with this stuff. This sort of like fan fiction, where you talked about the ancient builders, they've created this backstory sort of the ancient ones who created the original structures in the game, and where did they come from? So the creativity is really off the charts, Yeah,
it's yeah. That's the thing about it is we'll see one of the big benefits of it for kids, but also for anybody is it really gets your imagination and creativity going along with some other stuff too.
What about Herobrine?
Herobrine is a legendary character. From what I saw, Notch said unequivocally that Herobrine doesn't exist in Minecraft world. There was a 4chan post from years back where somebody claimed to have encountered Steve, but it was Steve with all white eyes, and he was a weirdo doing weird stuff following him around the Minecraft world, and that became the legend of Herobrine, this character that supposedly is the ghost of Notch's dead brother.
Right.
But Notch is I don't even have a brother. I have a half-brother I've never met. So no, there's no Herobrine. Sorry to bust that bubble.
Yeah, and I believe in mods and things, people have created that kind of stuff, but in the official Minecraft game, there never has been one, even though people swear that they've come across Herobrine.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a lot of ways that you can modify Minecraft yourself. Again, one of the cottage industries is creating editors to let Minecraft players modify the game to their own specifications, to let them do things like, jump really high in survival mode or fly or whatever you want to do. But one of the things that people have done is build stuff with or without modifications. And the less you modify, the more impressive your build is what they're called, or builds. For example, one kid named Atmospheric Beats.
This is incredible.
Who may or may not be Travis Hicks. I found a YouTube video and a Reddit post.
Who's that?
I can't imagine there's too many people running around making 1-to-1 scale models of Kansas City in Minecraft. Either way, there is a 1-to-1 scale model of Kansas City, every building, every tree, every street, and you can go inside every building. It's just completely true to life. In Minecraft, somebody built that.
I want that for Atlanta because I would have fun running around there.
Well, there's a whole group called Build the Earth where people around the world are creating like faithful to life recreations of buildings. The point is to recreate every building on Earth. So you can do that.
Okay. Maybe I will one day. It gets even cooler if you're like, all right, Kansas City, 1-to-1 scale model, not bad. Scale model of the entire Earth, not pretty impressive. There's an 18-year-old, this is a couple of years ago, so I guess he's 20-ish now, a YouTuber named Christopher Slayton. I think his real name is Chris DeCal, or is it the other way? It's probably the other way. I thought Slayton was the made-up thing, not DeCal.
Slayton. If it was like Slator, maybe.
Yeah, I had that reverse, but he made a model of the observable universe.
Did you see the video of this? I did. Explanation?
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was like, oh, I'm going to draw this in Minecraft. The kid did the physics required to create the models of the universe. I mean, like everything from like nebula to galaxies to the sun. Like you can zoom into pixels on the sun. It's just one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Would that be a photon?
I guess so. It'd be a 1 kilometer square photon.
If all that wasn't cool enough, in 2020, the group Reporters Without Borders started a project called Uncensored Library. And this is amazing. In places like Saudi Arabia and Russia, where the real news is like censored or you don't have access to these news sites, they are burying news inside the Minecraft world because you can play Minecraft there.
Yeah, they write books or they create books that have these articles in them. Isn't that cool?
Unbelievably cool.
There's another thing, too. I mentioned a kid who made a calculator. You can arrange these redstone, like ore, basically, and make things into logic gates, on, off, if, then, that kind of stuff. And if you arrange different logic gates together, you can create computers. And there was somebody who created a computer that plays Minecraft in Minecraft. Like you can go onto Minecraft, go over to that computer and play Minecraft on that computer that exists only in Minecraft. I just want to make sure it's totally clear what I'm saying here. And it actually works. It's not a drawing. It's like it's operating on logic gates that they created with arrangements of redstone ore.
Incredible.
So let's talk about this because I think it's pretty clear, Chuck, that there are a lot of benefits to playing this. Like, yes, it would be really easy for a kid to become addicted, and that really can happen. And I've seen that actually is an actual thing, and you have to look out for it. But there's also some real benefits to this, to playing this, especially as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a parent, keep an eye on your kid, monitor their how long they're playing this game, because it is great. And we're going to talk about the benefits for sure. But like, if they don't want to do anything but Minecraft, and if it seems like they're never satisfied with the amount that they're playing, and they're lying about their playing, and if they don't have it, they're, experiencing, the withdrawal symptoms of anything else, and they're grumpy and irritated or depressed, like seriously get involved because it's a real danger. The benefits, we've been talking about how creative it is. It's not only is it going to encourage you to just use your creative brain, but you're problem solving, you're using math, you're working with other people, like teamwork, potentially learning to code. Like this is the one game, I believe I asked Hodgman because I knew his son played, and I was like, hey, is this Minecraft thing? And he was like, that's kind of the one game that it's okay for kids to start playing because it's got plenty of good benefits. Yeah,
and even more esoteric stuff, like managing resources. Like, it's not like the kid's like, oh, I'm learning to manage resources. This is great. Just by virtue of playing Minecraft, you have to learn to manage resources. You have to keep up with your sheep and make sure that they're breeding so that you can get enough wool. You have to know what to use where to go get it, and then how to use it smartly so that you can get the most out of it. Like, that's a huge part of playing Minecraft, and that's a great thing to learn. It also teaches kids to like focus on a goal. You know, well, you want to raise some sheep. I know I keep going to that well, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
You have to farm the food to feed the sheep, and then you have to shear the sheep to get the wool, and then you use the wool to do God knows what with. And you have a goal, and it's not just that one goal. That goal is made up of a series of sub-goals too, and that's a great thing to learn early on.
Yeah, and your kids aren't coming to you and asking you how to do it unless you happen to be a parent that really knew Minecraft, because I'm sure, that exists now.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around long enough.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, like, your kid's probably in the other room figuring this stuff out. Maybe they're asking friends for help. Maybe they're not. They're learning as they go and making, like, what they think are, like, smart decisions to do better in the game in real time. My advice to a parent is, like, it's really easy just to sort of walk by anytime your kid is doing this with zero interest, but just maybe once or twice sit down and ask them to tell you about their world for 15 minutes. Yeah. Just like sit there with them while they play for like 15 minutes and say, show me your world. I did that a couple of times, and it's incredible to see. I mean, she was like 5 or 6 at the time.
Oh, wow.
To see a kid really, like, I was like, oh my God. And you figured out that, and you figured out you needed to do that to get that. And to them, they're just like, yeah, Dad, that's the game. Mm-hmm. But I'm over here going like, this is incredible. Like you're learning, like keep at it.
That is cool.
And I'm glad she stopped playing it at the same time.
There you go. I feel like we would be grossly remiss if we didn't give a shout out to our little friend from the Medford show.
Yeah, that's right.
Who requested this. I don't remember his name, and I'm very sorry for that. But there was a young dude, at the Medford show recently, I think in May, who during QA asked us to do an episode on Minecraft. And I think the whole thing started with him asking us about mobs, and we're like, what is a mob?
Yeah,
and that kind of kicked the whole thing off. So that's why we're where we are right now.
That's right. And if you hear this, kid and parent, and you want us to set the record straight and get that name on the air, like email us and we'll include that in a future correction.
For sure. And speaking of email, I think, Chuck, it's time for listener mail.
Yeah, this is about salsa. We got a lot of good salsa emails. People love salsa.
People like to say salsa.
Saying and eating. Did you see the one woman who sent in the black salsa from that restaurant in Chicago?
No, I didn't see that.
It looked good. I think it was the last couple of days. She posted a picture, and it's like charred peppers, basically.
Nice.
Did it look good. Hey, guys, great job on the recent episode on salsa. I was born and raised in northwestern Mexico. Being Mexican, I was very interested on how you guys would tackle this. Josh got it right about the fact that salsa is a condiment, mostly. Yeah. But he did get it wrong that it is, in fact, served at most restaurants in Mexico, along with tortilla chips called totopos, or like the tostadas, like Chuck mentioned, being broken apart. It is not an appetizer, nor do you need to order it. It's just served. And you can also use the salsa as a condiment with your food. And I saw someone else wrote in, a Mexican woman that said a lot of times that's a good way to test the salsa, to taste test sort of the salsa or the different salsas you get to see which one you do want to use as a condiment.
Oh, I see. I gotcha.
Which makes sense. Sorry, but the only thing that was innovated in the U.S. was to charge for something that comes free with your meal in Mexico.
Boo.
Boo, indeed. Also, guys, tortilla chips go back to the pre-Hispanic era with the Mexican word for tortilla chip, again, totopo, coming from a Nahuatl word meaning to toast or brown. And finally, for Chuck, pico de gallo, Mexico, is any sort of mixed or chopped fruits and vegetables. Pico de gallo that he referenced in the U.S. is usually called salsa fresca. I knew that. I don't know why I didn't say it. Or salsa bandero. Bandera meaning flag, and the chilies, onion, and tomato are green, white, and red like the Mexican flag.
Very nice.
Great email. That's from Ricardo Lamas Vidales.
Thanks a lot, Ricardo. We appreciate that. It's nice to hear from a local expert. And if you want to be like Ricardo and set us straight on some stuff, we would love to hear that. You can send it off to stuffpodcast@iheartradio.com.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Introducing the all-new Mazda CX-5, featuring more connection.
Hey Google, where's the nearest Pilates class?
Safety that has your back. More discovery on the scenic routes. More passion in the details. And more control in changing weather. The all-new Mazda CX-5. More to move every side of you. See it in 5 films at MazdaUSA.com/5sides.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC. Sequences shortened and simulated.
Everyone knows winter is the real mess maker. You don't need WeatherTech floor liners for summer unless you hit the beach and half the beach ends up back in your car, or the campsite dirt ends up in your trunk. Then you'd want a cargo liner, or a road trip goes sideways, lemonade spills, ketchup goes rogue, ice cream drips. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy about those WeatherTech seat protectors. So just to be clear, as the mud you're inevitably going to step in this summer, you don't need WeatherTech unless you plan on doing summer. Visit WeatherTech.com today. When it comes to small business, people want to talk to people, not bots, not voicemail. Your customers or clients want a real human connection. And that's exactly what they get with Ruby. Ruby is the virtual receptionist company that takes care of your callers when you're unavailable, in the middle of something, or just don't want to pick up. They can answer, screen, and transfer calls, as well as take messages, collect payments, book appointments, and more. All while saving you time and making the people you serve feel special. It's available 24/7, 365 days a year, and is 100% based in the U.S. See how it works at Ruby.com, or better yet, give them a call at 844-900-RUBY.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.